Yeah, last night I started having regrets about my WNBA Caitlin Clark obsession. Real regrets. Steve Kim's going to be thrilled to hear the start of today's show because last night I felt like an idiot. I'm upstairs in my gym. I'm off my Stairmaster and laying on my massage table watching the Indiana Fever and the Los Angeles Sparks play a horrific basketball game. And I started to figure out like, hey man, I think the joke's on me that it's nearly 11 o'clock at night and I've got this obsession with Caitlin Clark and the WNBA, and I think something important is going on. And nothing important is going on. They're not serious. Why am I taking this serious? This style of play is horrendous. Caitlin Clark is being mishandled, mismanaged, in a way, being tugged in and out of the lineup. They're lying to me. They're lying to me. Oh, Caitlin Clark's got a back injury. That's why she can only play in 2-minute spurts. That sounds like the kind of lies I told my girlfriend in college. Hey, I'm playing in 2-minute spurts because I got a back problem. Now, that's a bogus excuse that, some 20-year-old girl might fall for, but I'm 59. I'm not buying this back problem. They're lying to me. This whole thing is a joke. And now I can barely stand the sight of her, and I'm just keeping it real. The whole head bob foul baiting deal that she does, the constant, she only played 16, 15 minutes last night, but she still found time to yell and scream at the referees and pretend like it was their fault and not get back on defense and give up buckets. And I'm like, what am I doing here? Are any of these people important? I'm up at 11 o'clock at night watching women's basketball. And this is a comedy show. This isn't a competition. This is a comedy routine. And I just started thinking like, I'm watching Anchor Woman. This is some spinoff of Anchorman, and it's Anchor Women, and it's some kind of spoof comedy show on, hey, this is what basketball would look like if all the players were women, all the executives were women, 90% of them have an obsession with their sexuality. 75, 80% of them wear these bogus clownish wigs. They all hate each other. I'm watching Anchor Woman, a comedy, at 11 at night. And I'm like, the joke's on me. I'm part of this comedy show that they've roped people like me into watching this and into taking this seriously. And they're not serious. And I say that because they're telling us that like this is a serious competition. Some of these $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 per season. Hey, take this seriously. But they running out this superstar player, Caitlin Clark, and who for the second year in a row has some sort of mysterious injury that they're lying to us or selling to us. And you have to disconnect from reality to go along with it. Who has a back injury and someone devises a plan that you're going to play 2.5 minutes and then we're going to pull you out and let you get cold and you go ride a bicycle and then we'll put you back in? What back injury in the history of the world has been handled that way in sports? I've been involved in sports since I was 8 years old. 21 years, 5 decades of being involved in sports. And literally the last 40 years, I've been involved in sports in a serious way. I was a college football player, and then I became a journalist that covered sports in a serious way. I've never seen this. I've never seen a back injury that has premature evacuation every 2 minutes. There's premature evacuation where I got to go sit down on a blue pad or on a bicycle. Now, I'm telling you, I've watched a lot of sports. I've covered a lot of sports. You know what you do when you have a back injury in sports? You ever see Larry Bird laying down? When you become an old man like me, when your back starts acting up, you want to lay down. You want to lay down in some capacity to get relief. You don't sit on a blue pad or sit on a bicycle and warm. Man, they're yanking our chain and we're going for it. I'm looking at people right. This woman walked off the court 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, last Wednesday. So there's been a 2-week gap since the last time we saw Caitlin Clark play. She was in a game in the third quarter with about 5 minutes left to play. She made a mistake, didn't get back on defense. The coach hops up, takes a timeout, and pulls her out of the game. Caitlin Clark stands there. Or, no, first she's sitting down because she thinks she's going back in the game. And Stephanie White comes to the sideline, pulls her out of the game. Caitlin Clark hops up, never says a word to a trainer, nothing. Goes through the timeout, puts her hand in the huddle, and then walks off the court. No trainer going anywhere with her. And the media, the league, Stephanie White, Caitlin Clark have all said, hey, man, I left with a back injury. And I can't return for 2 weeks. And the media is reporting this as if it's believable. I'm looking at stories today. Oh, yeah, she's on a minutes restriction because of her back. She's had to sit out 2 weeks. And on a minutes restriction. But hold on, I heard about all the individual workouts she was doing. Who has individual workouts when they have a back injury? Who disappeared? Does a back injury stop you from talking? Because if it did, John Hadley wouldn't talk nearly as damn much as he does. He's got a back injury, but he talks constantly. Caitlin Clark couldn't talk to us for 2 weeks or 9 days. I'm sorry. I don't want to exaggerate things the way that they do. Never has given an explanation for why she walked off the court. But those of us participating in this comedy routine that the WNBA is putting on, we're just going along with it. Yeah. And the reporters are all just going along with it. Yeah, she's got a back injury. And they've got her on a minutes restriction. And the coach, the comedic coach, the clownish coach devises a plan where, hey, every 2 minutes, we'll pull you out of the game, let you lay over here, smoke a cigarette, and see if you recover, and you can go for round 2. I remember those days of like when I would have premature evacuation and I would need, hey, give me 15, 20 minutes. We can go round 2. That's the only time I remember that. And so if this is some kind of sexual dysfunction, there are pills for that. But don't tell me it's a back injury. This is a comedy routine that they're putting on, and the joke's on me and you. And I know you've convinced yourself that Caitlin Clark is this super important person in the race war, in the racial conflict. She's sticking it to the angry black lesbian women. Is she? Is she really? fine player. But I just don't think she's winning this war, this conflict. And I'm just not sure if she's even that. Well, I know she's not even interested in participating in that conflict. She's on their side. And you've convinced yourself, because you're a clown just like me, that, oh, yeah, she's a soldier in the race war and she's sticking it to these black women. And, man, I just love watching it. And I'm thrilled that 11 people in Congress, 11 of our lawmakers, have come together to write a letter threatening the WNBA over the mistreatment of Caitlin Clark. This is a movie, a comedy movie. And we're going for it. 11 people in Congress wrote a letter to Kathy Engelbert, the commissioner of the WNBA, because, again, they see an opportunity here to benefit from the Caitlin Clark anchorwoman clown show. And they're trying to use Caitlin Clark to send them, just like you are. They're mirroring you. Man, Caitlin Clark sticking it to these black women. And they want to reach their base. They want to reach you. Yeah, we're going to stick it to those black women too. We're writing a letter to Congress. I'm going to read the letter. It's amazing. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to try to read the whole thing, and let's see if I can do it. But dear Commissioner Engelbart, Caitlin Clark is transforming women's sports. She has inspired a new generation of young girls to participate in athletics and has become one of the most influential figures in the history of women's basketball. I mean, this is like the Gettysburg Address. She is also the face of your league. I mean, remember last week when people were giving, what's the crazy woman's name that's in the Supreme Court, the black woman, Ketanji Brown Jackson. Remember they were Ketanji Brown Jackson hell because she, in her written pieces in the Supreme Court, she's using slang and words, that social media stuff. She's like, this is clown stuff. We don't do this on the Supreme Court. This is the exact same thing. 11 Republican lawmakers have written a letter to appeal to Twitter and to X and to social media. This might as well be an Instagram post. And they're throwing red meat to their base over Caitlin Clark, someone that just does not represent what they think she represents. This bold soldier in the culture war. She's not. She's on their team. She's trying to negotiate peace with them at every turn. She's turned into a political basketball that these 11 Republican Congress people are now using to score cheap political points, meaningless political points. Let me continue reading their letter. She is also the face of your league. Well, what do these people in Congress know about who the face of their league is? Why do they care? Clark has significantly increased fan interest, driven record television ratings, and attracted corporate sponsors for the WNBA. Millions of casual fans now tune in to watch her play. Unfortunately, what they too often witness is not simply aggressive competition, but repeated attacks of unnecessary physical hostility and violence. Uninformed, out of the loop. Hey, what they just wrote there was relevant in 2024. So that sentiment was true her rookie season. Not true this season. This exaggerated throat punch heard round the world. It's an exaggerated joke. It's a part of the anchor woman skit. It's a part of this movie script that they've written, and everybody's selling that lie. The woman pushed her fist down Caitlin Clark's arm and across her jaw and throat area. It is not the Rodney King beating 2.0. It's not the Irina woman on a train. It's not Austin Metcalf. But these are the things they're tapping into because this whole thing is a joke. It's a movie. It's a scam. It's Twitter rage bait. Let me continue. Clark has been hip checked, poked in the eye, and struck in the throat during games. These incidents go far beyond routine physical play, yet the WNBA and its officiating have too often failed to address these unacceptable incidents and hold players accountable. Have any of these people ever watched the WNBA? The throat punches, the eye poking, the hip checks. That's the whole damn league for 30 years. That's not new. And what they're doing is continuing to put Caitlin Clark further in harm's way to advance their little political point making. They're making Caitlin Clark even more unlikable among her peers under the pretense that they're protecting Caitlin Clark. They're lying, but I don't blame them for lying. Everybody else is lying. Caitlin Clark's lying. She's running around pretending, going along with the script. Caitlin, baby girl, you have to pretend like you have a back injury. And we have to sit you out this game. You can't play tonight. She can't play tonight against the Phoenix Mercury because of her back. I mean, I'm going to get back to the letter, but I don't want to miss any of these points while they're bright and in my head. My whole point of all of this is like, hey, man, these women just aren't built for the spotlight and the stage and the money they're being paid. They can't handle it. They're not built for it. It's too rough. And I'm talking about the conversation about the league is too rough for them. Could you... Caitlin Clark, hey, you can't play tonight against the Phoenix Mercury. And Alyssa Thomas the night before pretends like she twisted her ankle and she possibly won't play tonight against the Phoenix Mercury. Could you imagine Pete Rozelle or David Stern or any man running a league that has a chance to, hey, man, we just had a controversial game 2 weeks ago that's got everyone's attention, everyone's talking. And here we are 2 weeks later, we have a chance to get these two back on the court and get TV ratings out of it. And the WNBA, the women's league, no, let's get these women off the court. Let's not take advantage of this situation. Let's not put our best product and most competitive game and highest rated regular season game we can have. Let's don't do that. Let's devise a plan where Aaliyah Boston, you're not going to play Wednesday night, and Caitlin, you won't play Thursday night, and Alyssa, you've got a twisty little ankle. Let's all go away and put on another bad exhibition game just like the one we put on Wednesday night. They're not built for this. And I say it with some sympathy because it is clear as day. And I don't think Caitlin Clark's hiding it. I think the WNBA, the Indiana Fever, but if you listen closely to what Caitlin Clark is saying, it's between the ears. That's where the injury is. That's where the struggle is. And I feel sorry for her. I have sympathy for her. But these women running around pretending like they're as mentally tough and can do what men can do, they can't. They need tap-out time. They need mental health breaks. Give me the name of the woman, that little midget woman that's a gymnast, that's married to the Green Bay Packer football player in Chicago, Simone Biles. Remember when she tapped out in the Olympics? That's what they do. And it sounds like I'm taking a shot at her, and I know I called her a midget, but you can call me fat. I got thicker skin. Again, I talk like a man. I don't melt because someone points out that I'm fat. She shouldn't melt because someone points out that she's a tiny, tiny person who, when the going got tough, tapped out. And I'm not saying that's every woman, because Carrie Strug certainly stuck the landing on a bad ankle in the Olympics and all that. But overall, I mean, do you understand what men do? They storm the beaches of Normandy, knowing that, like, hey, man, 70% of us, this is it. We're going to die. You think women do that? No, they don't, nor should they. They're not. The spotlight, the money, the attention, the conversation that they all beg for, they can't handle it. And I don't blame Caitlin Clark. The kind of conversations they've put her in, the kind of talking points, and to look at these 11 Republican congresspeople pretending like they're standing up for Caitlin Clark. They don't care about Caitlin Clark. They just want to use her and milk her for attention and to score some cheap political point that they think is going to help them get elected or reelected. Let me go back to this letter. Recently, a player even appeared to endorse violence against Clark in a social media post, further fueling concerns about the culture surrounding these incidents. In addition, concerning reports suggest that many of these attacks against Caitlin Clark may be racially motivated. That they just gave you the red meat. And all the Caitlin cult content creators, yes, someone finally said what we've been saying. This is racially motivated. This is a hate crime. Alyssa Thomas, who snatched Angel Reese down by the throat, who cheap shots at Candace Parker, Nafisia Collier, Alyssa Thomas, that thug who beats up black girls. Well, now she's beating up white girls. Why should you be surprised? You shouldn't be. Then they get, as commissioner, you have an obligation to ensure that every player competes in a safe and professional environment, both on and off the court, free from violence, discrimination, or retaliation. If discrimination or retaliation is occurring and creating a hostile work environment, we support any appropriate investigation by the Department of Justice, the Department of Labor, or the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. If true, such conduct could constitute violations of federal civil rights laws. It is imperative that the WNBA take meaningful action to address this issue. The league has an extraordinary opportunity to inspire the next generation of female athletes to pursue athletics. You know what? If I'm a true conservative Republican, that you need to rewrite that sentence. We need a woman out here that's inspiring women to get back in the kitchen and take care of their damn kids. And I say that having been, for the past 3 years, one of the biggest WNBA junkies on the planet. But I'm here today to say they put a clown suit on me. They're running a comedy show and a comedy routine, and I fell for it and didn't realize the joke is actually on me. This is a group of lying, conniving women who have talked men into coughing up millions of dollars to finance their little fantasy world that they could run a professional basketball league or any type of business. A bunch of lying, conniving lesbian women could run some league, and they're running it into the ground. And now Congress, which does nothing but destroy everything it touches. Government. It's like, hey, man, we got a situation we can exploit here. Millions of dollars being thrown away. We got a racial grift we can exploit. Let's get in there and make it about us. I'm embarrassed because normally I'm better than this. I see this from miles away, and I hit eject. I don't get too close. Peyton, go out here and grab. It's on the side. It's somewhere over here. If I'm somewhere, there's these posters. See if my Sophie Cunningham poster or Caitlin Clark poster. Ain't buying posters and putting them up in my old studio. I'm the biggest clown there ever was. I still like Sophie, but I'm just keeping it real. But the rest of this, and look, I know this is the ultimate betrayal. I know, but I just last night I just felt like a fool. Who could? I'm. Charles should feel like a fool too, and he's about to come on here because he's watching just as much of this as I am. He hops on the phone with me every time I call to talk about this crap. We've been had. We Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White were like, stay classy, Whitlock, Charles, Maurice, you group of idiots. All right, it's not I thought it was. Come on, I apologize. I'll find it. Yeah, stay classy. I apologize. Y'all know I don't like cussing, and I've mostly corrected my cussing. But they're really stay dumbassy is what they're saying. You group of idiots. You group of men that have fallen for this. And it's a lot of us black dudes. We've fallen for this and got totally invested in the WNBA. And they're pissing on us and telling us it's raining. What was it? Dave Chappelle that did the Rick James spoof about? Didn't he do a song? I want to piss on you or something like? Yeah, it was R. Kelly he was making. Yeah, it was R. Kelly he was making fun of. We've been R. Kelly'd and convinced ourselves that it was rain. Oh, this is rain. Oh, this is lemonade. Sourest tasting lemonade I've ever had. And I apologize for. Can't say that I'm going to quit watching cold turkey. I may continue to follow this and talk about it, but more from the perspective of like, hey, this is proof of why you don't turn anything over to an entire group of women. Without male leadership, you're going to get this kind of chaos and dishonesty. Let me take a break here, and then I'm gonna let Steve Kim come in here and gloat. Skap, we'll see what he does. He'll probably gloat as well, and Charles will have to issue an apology for participating in this insanity that I've been going through. Give us a second. We'll be right back. All right, before we get to Steve, Charles, and Skap, I want to remind you all of who allows me to melt down like this and do shows like this, and who the organization I'm most pleased with, satisfied with, thrilled with partnering with, and that is Preborn. Preborn supports my worldview, our worldview, that life begins at conception. They do this by providing expectant mothers who are considering abortion. They provide them an ultrasound. Each ultrasound costs $28. The ultrasound introduces that baby's heartbeat to the mother, introduces an image of the baby while the baby's in the womb to the mother, and now that mother is twice as likely to choose life. And that's where Preborn steps in and steps up and provides for that woman and child for up to 2 years. They do that because we support Preborn. We support Preborn because we know and believe life begins at conception, and We know who founded Preborn, who runs Preborn, where the money actually goes. Dan Steiner, the founder, has been on this show. He's been to my house. He's been to roll call. We have scouted out and gotten very comfortable with Dan Steiner and Preborn because we know our money isn't wasted on mid-level executives. It pays for actual ultrasounds. Each ultrasound, $28. 5 ultrasounds, $140. Whatever your best gift is, give today. Give monthly like I do and many of our listeners do. Go to preborn.com/fearless. That's preborn.com/fearless. Or dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby. All right, let me get back to the conversation about the WNBA. Steve Kim, I'm going to let you fire first because you get to say I told you so the loudest. Your thoughts?
You know what these are? Right in here? Whitlock tears. What did I tell you? First of all, I am not going to gloat. I am a bigger man than that. What I'm going to do is I will congratulate the fearless audience. Because in the immortal words of Martin Luther King, free at last, good God Almighty. I think we're free at last, but this is the reality. You'll be back. You'll be back. It's like that line from The Godfather. I think it's the second. Every time you think you're out, you, Whitlock, pull yourself back in. So today's date is July 9th. My over-under is July 14th. Something will happen. It'll give you a glimmer of hope. And then I'm going to get the message from Hadley. Hey, big guy, you're off today. Jason's going solo for 90 minutes on what he witnessed. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Yeah, Skap, you know it, Skap. We've both gotten that message. So, look, it's a momentary reprieve. We think we're going to be okay. It's football season. But, fellas, don't get your hopes up high. This man will be back because he cannot help himself.
Look, if I ever do 90 minutes on the WNBA again, it will be more of me just continuing to burn it down. This thing is a joke. They just told me that this woman played 2 minutes at a time last night because she had a back injury. And I mean, that's just an open lie to everyone's face. They've told me that she didn't walk off the court and quit on her team 2 weeks ago. That's a lie. This whole back injury thing is a lie. Caitlin Clark even said last night, she admitted it. She was like frustrated that like, hey, this plan of playing me 2-3 minutes at a time, that wasn't my decision. Someone else made that decision. She knows how crazy it is. I've watched a lot of basketball. I've participated in a lot of sports. I can remember in 6th grade, I played a football game with a bad back. They didn't play me 2 minutes at a time. They left me out there the entire game because, and I know that's not that relevant, but I've played, followed sports. I've never seen someone, hey, let's play them in 2-minute intervals. They're lying to me.
Well, Jason, this is a revolutionary new rotation. It's called a hockey shift.
Yes.
Right? So the only the most notable time a player was put on a time restriction that everyone knew about was Michael Jordan in his second year. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that the coach was Stan Albach, and he was told that Jordan could play no more than 6 minutes per half or something to that effect. And they kept a timer on it, and that really angered Jordan. I get the sense that, and I've said this for a while, I think Caitlin still loves basketball. This is what she's done, trained her whole life. And I don't necessarily blame her for this, but Jason, it is my view that she has mentally capitulated. And if she's not completely checked out on the game of basketball, I do believe she has checked out a little bit, at the very least, on her current work situation in Indiana.
Skap, I'm going to let you hop in here.
Yeah, well, I just have to echo Steve's sentiments, Jason. Like maybe you'll get off of. I don't really care if you watch, enjoy the WNBA, but maybe less talking about the WNBA. Let me just give you, Jason, a little behind the scenes glimpse of Steve and we were talking about LeBron's exodus from LA the day after the official announcement, and he and I were like, well, this better be the whole show today for Whitlock. The Laker angle finally, freeing themselves from the clutch of LeBron James. Not one single segment on LeBron or the Lakers the day after. It was all WNBA stuff. So hopefully, Jason, you're ready to just dial in to all of the sports topics outside of the WNBA because realistically, Jason, I just have to ask, how many people out there, how many viewers out there in YouTube land or just watching all over the world, do you think are actually excited and fired up to hear WNBA discourse for 50 to 70 minutes a day? What do you think?
I think there's a lot of them, and I think that whatever the host is passionate about is what the audience is going to be passionate about. And I also think you all are piling on me way too much because if there wasn't a co-conspirator, if there wasn't someone egging me on who, has a lot of experience in the basketball game, has a lot of sports experience, if there wasn't, Charles isn't taking nearly the heat that he should for dragging me further down this hole. Charles, I don't know the answer to this because me and Charles did talk last night during the game, but I don't know the answer to this. Charles, that game last night pissed me off, and I felt like I was participating in a hoax.
Well, first of all, Steve Kim, that is not the face of a man who's not gloating. All right, let's get that straight, and let's put you in the same category, Jay. Hey, you gotta figure out which side you're on, Jason. You clowns to the left, jokers to the right. You get in either line. But let me address this Congress letter because I want people. I'm gonna explain this in layman terms. What just happened? Let's go back to 1979, Indianapolis, and Jason Whitlock is playing youth football, and he's turning it up. And you meet a little boy from the other side of town. He can't wait to see you. He's heard everything about you. And the first chance he get, he knocks the crap out of you on your backside. Okay. You're thinking, whoa, boy, he got me. I better get up. And you're getting up slowly, and everybody's walking back to their huddle, and all of a sudden there's a commotion. And you look up, oh, wow. It's Miss Whitlock running on the field. and she runs to the huddle of the other team, and she grabs the little boy by his face mask, and she starts scolding him. Don't you hit my baby like that again. Don't you be that rough to my little baby. That's essentially what Congress is doing with Caitlin Clark. And I don't think any of them are sports fans enough to realize that's what they're doing. They're making it worse. They're making it worse. And Jake, I'm gonna tell you something. I love the NBA. I get behind all sports. This is gonna sound crazy to you, but there's storylines going on in the NBA, WNBA right now. That's way more exciting than where the NBA's version of a Locust is going to end up next. It just is. We've watched that movie about 4 or 5 times now, and that's why nobody's talking about it right now.
Charles, do you also have Asia Wilson above above Tom Brady all time? Is she a more compelling athlete than Tom Brady? Are you on that talking trend as well?
See that? Hey, that's what I was expecting today. Y'all just get those punches in. Just get them in.
Charles, I want to go back to, I'm going to ask you, last night was an embarrassment, man. There's nothing, I don't like being lied to. And like at least tell me a good lie. They're telling really bad lies. It's like, hey, Caitlin Clark is the reason to watch, but you're only going to get her 2 minutes at a time. And it's because of some back injury, and everybody's pretending like this is normal. it's not just the lie Stephanie White and Caitlin are telling, the league is telling. It's like the lie the media is telling me. Everybody else in the media is going along with this like there's nothing unusual. That's what has me really, really pissed off and has me just like, what an idiot I am. You know, I'm Archie Bunker, and I've sat here and pretended like these women are capable of building a non-chaotic professional sports league, and they're just not.
I understand exactly where you're coming from. When my son was growing up, well, he used to try to calm me all the time, and I always knew it. But if I thought it was a good con, I'd reward him without telling him. But if he told me something that was lame, no, get away from me, man. That's disappointing. That's the best you can come up with. I'm not really as mad as you are right now because I told you 2 weeks ago, Jason, I know a lie when I hear one. They're lying to us right now. That's not what happened. Here's what's happening here. So it's the fact, the fact that everybody's going along with it. You know who I think is having a harder time going along with this story than anybody? Caitlin Clark. I think Caitlin Clark wants to hoop. Caitlin Clark wants to play basketball. Hey, the WNBA has a game tonight. Phoenix Mercury, Indiana Fever. It should be mandatory for Lisa Thomas and Caitlin Clark to play in that game. They should call ESPN and say, no. I know it's not scheduled to be on your network tonight. You got to put this one on. We got to get as much coverage as this one as possible. I mean, go back to 1984 when Kurt Rambis just clocked. When Kevin McHale just clocked Kurt Rambis in the eye. Man, they were showing it in the promos. they were showing it in the promos. The Congress didn't come to the aid of Kurt Rambis, and that's assault. If he did it on the street, Kevin McHale could have went to jail. But they was playing it on the promos. It got everybody amped up. Oh, man, there's about to be a fight here. Everybody's glued to the TV for the next game to see what's going to happen. Come on. Surely there's somebody up in Capitol Hill who had the foresight to say, no. This will do more harm for this woman than it will good. But then somebody came back and said, yeah, but it's going to do us a lot of good to make people think that we're on it. So there's the problem. The circus is coming to town.
Steve, I'm going to give you final thought, and then we're going to move on.
Couple things. That Rambis foul, that was actually just 2 free throws. It wasn't even a flagrant. There was no such thing. And they actually had a skirmish. They just, all right, guys, get it out. Play ball. That's all that happened. Couple things. Jason, a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, wasn't there a guy that covers the WNBA specifically for Indiana got his credential pulled, right?
Scott Agnes, yes.
Yeah, so that was a warning shot. So let's say there was a young, aspiring Jason Whitlock on the beat, writing for whatever paper. And I think you'd probably be the one guy that says, wait a minute, who's zooming who? 2 minutes at a time, GTFOH. You'd probably write columns, have fun with it. I think a lot of these guys today, it is so access-based. They got to get their soundbite. They got to get their videos in. That the threat of having their media credentials pulled is very, very apparent. That they're very leery of it. My view is, and I've learned this the last couple of years, I could watch a fight off TV. I could take the quotes from a press release, bring my own views. Now, there's certain access I can't get. But you know what it makes you, Jason, when you're less reliant on access? It actually makes you more honest. If you want to be brutally honest and just say what you got to say and have some fun, you can do it that way. But I don't believe that the current media members that are actually at the games on a daily basis and have to be there, I think there's a tacit understanding, do not bring this up or don't bring it up too much.
Steve, let me ask you one more thing because you've been with the show the longest, almost since the inception. Am I overestimating my premature evacuation line? I think it's one of the greatest lines. And off the top of my head, a lot of these things I have prepared, I think before the show, that was off the top of my head. I'm very pleased.
I don't know if it's Mount Rushmore. I would put it in your top 10, though.
All right.
You have a good top 10. You're going to have to do a graphic one day. The Whitlock Mount Rushmore of phrases, sayings, nicknames. But right after thinking about it, top 10 for sure.
Skap, I'm going to let you frame up. Why do you think we should be talking about LeBron James? This is the 4th or 5th episode of LeBron moving his show, circus, wherever he wants. I get we're going to talk about it, but I part of me is so cynical as it relates to LeBron James. I think he knows where he's going. I think this is all a part of the documentary that he's shooting about this upcoming season, that the whole thing is a script. And it's like, it's what sports are being turned into. I've said it forever. They're just a TV show, and they just continue to prove me right more and more.
Well, look, I don't necessarily think we should have been talking about LeBron James. Jason, I referenced earlier, Steve and I were talking in the aftermath of him deciding to leave the Lakers, that I think that it's more of a Laker-focused story. And I think Steve would agree with me that finally the greatest organization in NBA history escaping the clutches of LeBron James the day after I thought it was a big story. Now, as we limp on into whatever it is, day 5 since the moratorium lifted, or maybe it's like day 3 or day 4 since the moratorium on free agency lifted. But you would think expectations are that we would know by this point where LeBron was going. That looks like it's at least several days out now still at this point. I mean, I'm honestly with you on the LeBron kind of nausea of the whole thing, or fatigue, I guess I would use the term. I mean, you're right. We've been here, done that. However, I will say this. It's been 8 years, Jason. Like, typically LeBron was doing this kind of movement, this dance every 4 years. Now, this is the longest individual tenure that he's had in any one specific place. So it actually is the first time LeBron has been hitting the free agent market in quite some time. I don't think necessarily that his decision is going to indicate or dictate like who the odds on favor are to win the NBA championship, particularly with the teams I think he's circling around at this point. There are teams he can go to that I think would make more sense from a basketball standpoint for him. I don't think necessarily that he's going to pull the trigger though and make this decision for basketball reasons.
I think part of my fatigue with LeBron, even though I do find this somewhat interesting just in terms of exploring his narcissism and just his, but like, man, the all-time greats, I mean, literally, when I think of Jim Brown, when I think of Barry Sanders, when I think of Michael Jordan, they kind of leave you wanting more. And I know Michael came back for those 2 years with the Washington Wizards or whatever, but you know, Michael certainly, that first retirement left us wanting more, and even his second retirement left us wanting more, and then he gave us probably a little too much. But I think like LeBron and this whole decision 2.0 is going to, it almost screams, hey, I learned nothing from the first decision, that I'm actually going to do it again, and I can't, you know, sometimes I come up with excuses for LeBron. I can't come up with one here. The guy's just a narcissist, and he's learned nothing since the decision.
Well, that, Jason, and the league is basketball has kind of passed him on at this point. I mean, the NBA. I look at how successful, look, I know you pointed it out, and it is definitely accurate and spot on that the tracking numbers, the way they track the data of viewership has changed fundamentally. However, this was a successful postseason, I think, for the NBA, with the emergence of Victor Wembanyama as a major storyline and the New York Knicks captivating like most of the basketball world's attention. LeBron, I think, is kind of feeling a certain way. Like, hey, what about me? The game is forgotten now about me. The guy's been the central figure for 2+ decades now. I think this is kind of a way he's trying to hijack the news cycle and jam himself back into the spotlight.
Charles, you got some thoughts here?
Well, I've had this argument for the last 5 years. I don't think LeBron and the Lakers has been nearly as relevant as people think they've been. Uh, I mean, you talk to a diehard Laker fan living in Los Angeles, they'd have to agree with me. Uh, I saw something last night, and they was trying to compare LeBron James Lakers uh, tenure with James Worthy's, and there's no comparison to it.
Oh.
This is and I was thinking about this last night. Is LeBron James sitting back and he's saying, "Let me make a calculated decision on where's my best chance to go and win another championship," or is part of him saying, "Hey, let's let everybody go ahead and sign, and then we can make this whole summer about about me again. The attention can come to me, and where I'm going to go." And then I'm thinking, okay, well, there's a third part to this also, because I find it hard to believe that he's going to go somewhere where they're not going to be able to take his son also. So I think that's what hurts Golden State in the whole deal.
Steve?
I want to make this clear. Whoever said that LeBron and James Worthy, if that person said that LeBron had a better Laker run or places him above Big Game in the Laker hierarchy, blasphemy. They should never be taken seriously. And Charles, I would suggest you lose their number. Couple things. To be fair to LeBron, in terms of wanting to leave us wanting more, right? To be fair, no one's ever been this good or this effective for 20 plus years. So it's kind of unprecedented. This is not like, remember when Akeem Olajuwon was a Toronto Raptor? Remember that, guys? It actually happened. Patrick Ewing was a Seattle Supersonic, and then Shaquille O'Neal was half the Eastern Conference. It's not the case. So this is where it's a little bit different. As much as we may not like LeBron, or me and Skap specifically, he is still an effective, very good player. I think the problem was, we go specifically to our city in LA. Jason, there's no doubt about it. There is a fatigue. There was, and there had been for at least 3 years. And the biggest thing that I found out, and because I did a couple local radio interviews last week as this news broke, Jason, I was far from the only Laker fan in recess. That was surprising. And we had major sports figures like Fred Rogan. He's been an institution out here in LA for NBC and Radio 710 AM. He flat out said LeBron did not feel like a Laker, didn't feel like one of us. And that clip went viral. And I think that is the case. Look, LeBron can still play in the league. Is he the type of player now as the number one guy to lead you all the way to the O'Brien Trophy? No, he's not. But in terms of leaving on his top, he was never going to do that. But I have to give him some credit. When he leaves, he will be a better player than probably 90% of the Hall of Famers in the past who struggled to the finish line.
Skap or Charles, you got a final thought?
Well, I just got one quick comment about this. Kobe Bryant once said in an interview, and I tried to find it. No, I'm not gonna hang around and play on the team and average 14, 15 points a game. I won't be around that long. He was basically saying, hey, when the day comes where I'm not the man anymore, see you. See you. I'm not finna ride alongside anybody else. You won't see me getting 14, 15 points a game. I'll be out the door.
Yeah, but Charles, we did see him leave out the door shooting about, 40%? Same thing.
Hey, that was higher than his team average.
And Steve, you got to realize, like, he ruptured his Achilles, then he played 6 games, and then like 18 games, and then he came back and he was playing a full season, and he realized he didn't have it anymore, and he said, this is going to be it. So like he accrued 2 immediate season-ending injuries the seasons after he ruptured his Achilles. The year he ruptured his Achilles, he finished 5th in league MVP voting, and he was 2nd in the league in scoring. He averaged more points per game and scored more points than MVP LeBron that year at the age of 28 when LeBron was 28. So Kobe was still arguably the best player in the NBA and a top 5 player the year he ruptured his Achilles. Then we didn't see him again until his age 37 season, and he was like, okay, I don't have it anymore. My body's betrayed me. I'm out. Because to Charles's point, Kobe wanted it to be a possibility maybe not the best player on the planet every single night, but he wanted it still to be a reality that on any given night, he might be the best player still alive. When he couldn't do that anymore, it was time to go. So say what you will, LeBron is playing at a magnificently high level right now, still probably a fringe top 20 player, but he is going to be the third best player on whatever team he decides ultimately to go to. Kobe would never have done that. Jordan would never have done that. So like while he might be playing at a physically high level, he is going to be the definitive third option on a team next year. I don't know if that's the way you want to go out. That's a decision, I guess.
It's a decision I would make. Because anyway, I'm gonna stop. I want to stop there because there's something else I want to get into, and I want to stop with the Kobe and LeBron. And I think, Steve, I'm gonna circle back to you. Do you have anything? I talked yesterday and earlier this week pretty extensively on two shows about Marcellus Wiley and that feud is what I called it yesterday between Marcellus Wiley and his wife and the way this thing has spun out. Do you have any thoughts on either how I handled it or just your own take on what we're witnessing?
Well, I think you make a great point about are we living our real life or are we living up to an identity or a nickname? I think there's a lot of truth in that. However, this has gotten wild. Usually, and I get it, there were some legal issues involved over the weekend, but when a couple that is more than just private, let's say they have any type of public profile, when they make it a divorce announcement, what they usually say is, we're going to handle this matter privately. It's no one else's business. Please respect it, right? They're airing it all out. I thought it was wild that there's the term voodoo curse. It's gotten to that point. This sounds like one of those R. Kelly videos, like Trapped in a Closet, where he lays out a whole story. And this is just my opinion. And you illuminated something that I was wrong on. When I first saw the clip of Emmanuel Acho on Twitter, I thought he was piling on. He really wasn't. He was actually laying out the case like, guys, this is kind of what I saw. And I thought it was very fair. Tip of the cap to Acho. But, Jason, I think I'll go back to my original point. Everything is out there now. There's always three sides to a story. Her side, his side, and probably whatever the truth is lies in the middle. We have to let this thing play out now. If I was if I was Marcellus Wiley, from this point forward, I would just hunker down for the legal battle and let the evidence speak for itself.
Skap, you got some thoughts?
Yeah, no, I'm with Steve. I saw Wiley's official statement on X or whatever the other day, and I think it was well crafted. Whether he wrote that or somebody else wrote it for him, that's what I would do. I would say, listen, I would love to comment on this. I will. A day and a time will come that I will be able to. That time and that day is not now. I have to just let the legal process play out. I would. Those are kind of the wordings and the verbiage I would use if I were him. That's what he's doing. And I think, Jason, just overall, you're a friend of his, so I think it's important to know, like, these guys are never who we think they are. Like, you never really know anybody, right? Like the first time that hit me with celebrity or whatever was the Tiger Woods situation when he flipped his cart and his wife beat the hell out of him with a golf club, and all of the stuff then came out afterwards about Tiger Woods. But basically, the people that you see on camera or on air, whether they're media personalities, celebrities, athletes, whatever, we don't really know anything about their actual personal lives. And still, we don't know. We have speculation here saying whatever, things coming from different sides of the story. Like Steve said, there's always two sides to every story. I think we have to wait and hear whenever the legal element of it plays out, and we can hear him officially speak on it. Hell, maybe he could do it here with you.
People say that frequently in terms of, as it relates to celebrities, that, hey, we really don't know them. I take it a step further. It's like, I really don't know anybody. And because we all have public lives, private lives, personal lives, and everybody is somewhat of a mystery. And so I'm going to land the plane there for me. You got a thought you want to share on this or reaction?
Well, I'll say this: when this first came out, I was, I felt bad for Marcellus because I'm thinking that there's nothing that she's even saying that makes this guy seem like that he's harmed her in any kind of way. And then I read the statement that he put out, and I no longer take the whole situation serious because when I read that my wife has been putting voodoo curses on our family, I mean, this is the funny season here. I mean, my wife is putting a voodoo curse on our family. Ooh, boy, I can't wait to hear elaborate on that one. I mean, I think everybody should just hold on for a minute here because I think this thing might get a little interesting because I've never heard a man say a wife put a voodoo on my family.
Charles, I want to be clear real quick. I want to jump back in real quick. I did not mean when I said I liked his statement, I did not mean the voodoo curse statement. I meant the one where he said he's like focused on his children and that he's going to let the legal process play out and not say anything else. That's the comment that I like that he said.
Well,
Okay.
Skap, let me ask you, because when you did say that, I did. It's like, hold on, did you read the whole statement or like? I
guess
that
not.
Oh yeah, the whole statement on X. There's a lot covered there, and I don't think that was wise strategy. I get why you're in a defensive position and you want to protect your brand, but I don't know if this protects your brand as much because the first thing that raised eyebrows for me was like, for years I've been documenting things, and I've got emails, I've got text messages, I've got, it sounds like recordings or whatever, and that's like, man, they got a movie. This is Sleeping with the Enemy 2.0. I just, less would be more here, but I get the instinct or the emotion to react. But
Jason,
yeah.
Another reaction that I had, be very wary of going on reality shows. I think it does something to people psychologically. Main character syndrome, doing stuff like that. And I don't watch them. I've never really watched them. I watched The Real World on MTV the first 2 seasons. It was such a new thing. It was a novelty type of act. But I actually buy something, and there's credence to the fact that Marcellus's wife may have changed after her experience on that show. That the person that came into it may have been a completely different person after it for whatever reason. But there almost does seem to be a case, there was a psychological altering of herself and probably other individuals who have been through that process.
Steve, you've lived out in California your whole life. I lived out there for 10 years. And one of the things that I noticed about myself, and I didn't like it, and it plays a little part of the reason why I left. No one in California, or particularly in Los Angeles, they're never satisfied with what they have. There's always someone else that has more. And you're just trapped in that, I got to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And so when I hear the voodoo deal, for me, and I didn't go into a lot of detail on this, I think I'm saving it for Harmony, and maybe I want to get G. Craig Lewis back on to talk about it. But that is what I believe a part of a satanic ritual. If you want to have the ultimate fame in Hollywood and you want to go on Real Housewives and be super successful and spin it off into a brand, and you're sitting around fantasizing about, hey, can I pull off what the Kardashians did, or 10% of what the Kardashians did, or 20%, or whatever. It's like, oh, okay, I got to do some kind of ritualistic, satanic spell that's going to, that I hear and see, and it's part of the reason, I just wanted to leave LA, man. I think it makes you're never satisfied. You're always trying to keep up with the Joneses. You always got to have the best house, the best car, send your kids to the best schools, have the best jewelry. And that's, in a different culture and a different environment, Anna Marie and Marcellus might both be different people, but out in LA, again, Steve, to me, it's like you're kind of an odd duck in LA in terms of not having. No, you've always been like, no, man, I only want so much. It doesn't take a whole lot for me to be happy. I don't have to be as rich as Mario Lopez.
Well, yeah, me, I'd like to be, but I don't need to be. It's a little different. But again, Jason, I'm pretty content. As long as I get to read a book in my office, watch a few ball games, make a living, not work too hard, I'm good. But I do think that, and I think you're specifically talking, because I'll be honest with you, I don't know that many people with that type of hunger just for more. I generally hang around people like myself. The 5 people you hang around with, that's the average of what you are as a person, or something to that effect, right? But Jason, once you get into that industrial complex of wanting to be an actress or a brand and you start getting on these shows, now you're putting on a front for everybody. I think there's a very good chance that Anne Marie may have been a relatively normal human being. She gets put through the car wash and she's a different type of person. I think there's a very good chance of that. But I've also had a theory, and you and I have talked about this. My belief is, in general, if you are a celebrity of any nature, you need to marry someone that's absolutely not even known. I just think there's such a dynamic when you are competing for headlines and competing to be more famous than your spouse. I think that could lead to some issues.
Charles?
Well, it was normally I try to stay out of people's personal business, but when you release news releases to the public, then it's free game. We all get to be a part of it. And it was reported that she was upset when she got kicked off the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Well, I tell you what, you want to become attractive to another producer on one of these Housewives shows? Let's see, let it come out that you married the guy that you say sexually assaulted you 2 years after he did it. Oh, and you're also capable of putting voodoo curses on him and the rest of your family. Wait a minute now, this woman's a little bit more interesting than we thought she was. Hey, why don't you come on back to this show? I'm laughing at this whole deal now. I'm looking at it differently. The more Jason said it best, probably less is better. Because the more I hear, the more I'm starting to giggle at it, to be honest with you. I'm starting to giggle at a matter that you shouldn't be giggling at.
Skap, is there any way for you to connect Kobe to this before we get out of here?
No, I don't think so. Just other than the fact that I must have seen, guys, a snippet of his overall release, because had I seen voodoo curses alleged in there, I wouldn't have said I liked it. I liked the succinctness of I'm not going to talk about it now, which is what he should have said from the very beginning.
Yeah, I don't know what tweet you were reading. Hadley, send Skap the full tweet. We're going to let you guys go. Hadley, send Skap the real information. He must have missed that. Thank you guys for watching. We will have Harmony today, so stay tuned for that. We'll see you tomorrow on Fearless.